there, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to reading Machiavelli's The Prince. Today we're looking at chapter 2, which deals with hereditary princes. Now, given the chapter 1, he sets out a structure. He says, we're going to deal with the princes and the different types of principalities, principates, and he then says, okay, hereditary principates. First one. It is basically a short one. It has only, I think it's 3 paragraphs. Yeah, 3 paragraphs. And the beginning part is, and this leads us to the view that he talks about, the discourses are the Republic book. I shall omit the discussion of republics because on another occasion I discussed them at length. I shall turn only to the Principate and go on weaving according to the order written above, disputing how one is able to govern and maintain these principles. Now, I'm going to go look over here because I think we need to go look at this. One footnote is regalia, the work. Among other things, a reasoning, a disputation, and a formal presentation of a thesis. So this is another writing. So this is regalia, presentation, a formal presentation, disputation. He thus uses the term regalia, or reasoning, in the first sentence of this chapter, emphasizing the scholastic character of this work in that sense. So that's one of the first things, the first sentence of that, of the work, right? This is like this. Second, the number 2 things, the Machiavelli is, of course, referring to discourses. He's saying that I'm talking about Republic because this is in other words, he's creating an opinion. He's not talking about republics. I want to talk about republics. Generally, I've discussed republics greatly. I'm not going to talk about. I'm only going to focus on principalities. Right. According to the topics in chapter 1, was it the reading is this is that there are 13. In other words, the 13. There are 13. In other words, on the question of weaving and the art of statesman, the metaphor of weaving, and how this is connected with political statesman, the statesman or the politikos in the Greek, is look at Plato's statesman or Plato's statesman, or the politikos really, in 279.286a. So therefore, this is what we leave us at in that sense, the idea of weaving in the political art. So we have, so he's giving us a structure of the things. He says, I'm not going to talk about Prince. I'm not done. I'm going to keep on weaving the Prince. So the first paragraph is a transition that really suggests that maybe this should have been why isn't this? Why didn't they put this in the last chapter? Because now he's talking about hereditary princes, and he's explaining why he's not going to be talking about principates and follow the order of what was done before, right? And because I've talked about another book, he's pointing to his other book, the discourses, and of course he says the discussion or the regalia, this argument that I shall omit the discussion, right? He's going to omit this academic work in that sense. Second paragraph. Now the focus here. I shall omit. I say then that in maintaining hereditary states accustomed to the blood of their princes, the difficulties are very minor compared to those of which are to be found in the new Stato, new one, the new principate, maybe the new, because it's sufficient. So because it suffices the hereditary prince not to omit the order of his ancestors. Those who, the ancestors. Let's go to ancestors. Not to omit the order of his ancestors. Again, this is interesting. That is the form of the city, the regime, the politeas, found his ancestors, right? His ancestors, those who came before, they gave it to him. That's the Alvarez's thing. I would argue that. So he starts again. I repeat, we got interrupted again. In other words, he says that it's not going to be difficult to this. Why? Because they just, it's princes are gonna. It's going to be very easy. He says that maintain the hereditary state custom because of the blood of the prince. And the difficulties are very minor compared to that of the new prince, because it suffices him, the hereditary prince, not to omit the order, the regime of his ancestors. And moreover, with respect to accidents, things that happen, right, to wait for the opportune moment to act, the opportunity moment, the moment to act, to do things. In other words, if there's an accident, wait until the right time to act. In this mode, if such a prince is of ordinary industry, not great industry, ordinary industry, he will always maintain himself in his state. He doesn't have to be great; he has to be ordinary, unless there is an extraordinary and excessive force which deprives him of it. So the ordinary prince can only be removed by a extraordinary and excessive force that deprives him of it. And deprived of it though he may be, even though he may be deprived of it, right? It may be. Let the usurper have some mistake, some, not an extraordinary, not even ordinary, just some, any mishap. And he requires it. He, the hereditary prince, will require it. So some mishap, something goes wrong. Not excessive, not extraordinary, some. So therefore, the ordinary prince of ordinary industry can maintain it. And it takes something excessive to remove it, excessive and extraordinary. And even then even deprived, something, let the usurper have some mishap, right? And he requires it. Now, he continues the third paragraph. That ends the second paragraph. Now, let's turn to the third. We have in Italy, for example, the Duke of Ferrara, who stood up to the assaults of the Venetians in 84, and those of Pope Julius in 10, for no causes other than he was ancient in that dominion. Now, 6 and 7, I want to look at those notes because this is important. Caston is cause, except in chapter 9. Machiavelli comes to distinguish a cause from a reason, right? Calion and Ragion. For causes are what move men to act, where reasons are what men say about what moves them. So, in other words, the cause is what moves. The reason is what they say speak about the actual causes. Reasons are beliefs and what men are able to say about causes. This is where he does now. Machiavelli speaks of two dukes of Ferrara, the one of Ecole d'Esteta and his son Frenzo. It should be noted that Machiavelli has it should be noted that is somewhat inaccurate about historic facts throughout the Prince. In other words, he's intentionally sloppy in that sense. Events to which he alludes are foul. The Venice and the Pope Sixtus declared war on Ecole d'Esteta in 14, but failed to dislodge him, and the peace was concluded in 1487, and in 1510, Pope Julius II decided to abandon the alliance with the French, the League of Cambrelli, and which had been directed against Venice, and concluded a separate peace with the Venetians. Alfonso failed to follow him. The French were driven from Italy. Okay, and Alfonso set into exile by Julius. That is, Alfredo did not quite stand up to Julius. Alfonso, Alfonso was subsequently restored, but to his duchy by Leo the X. Okay, so therefore, this is the irony that he gets restored by Leo. Okay. So what happens here? Now, the next, for a natural prince. So this is interesting, natural prince. This is why here the natural prince is one whose blood and lineage of the people have become accustomed. But Machiavelli seems to suggest that the natural prince may be something other too. He is one who is born by fortune a prince, and then is able to take advantage of whatever befalls him. There's a kind of confusion. Why does he use? At one level, he's suggesting the hereditary prince is the natural prince, is the one who's born a prince and has the line of the blood. But then he also says the one who is by his nature, not the blood, but of his character, a new prince. In other words, is by fortune a prince. In other words, this idea, and then is able to take advantage of what accident befalls him. This is the double play of the word in that sense. So for the natural prince, he has fewer causes and less. Okay, we have to go back here for a second. For the natural prince has fewer causes and less necessity to offend. So that he's playing this. Who is the natural prince here? Is it the hereditary prince or something else? He has. In other words, he doesn't. But let's go back for a second to see that line. He has fewer causes and less necessity. We went too far. Necessity to offend. Has causes or necessity to offend. From whence it follows that he must be more loved. And if extraordinary vices do not make him, none of this he has to watch out not for vices, but extraordinary vices do not make him hated. It is reasonable that they is the people, the many, will naturally have goodwill towards him. Now, this is again the they here is since Machiavelli is addressing Prince, he speaks of the many, that is the people, as the they. Okay, he's talking to the prince. He's the they is here in this case the people, right? This is the ambiguity of his pronouns here. That they would naturally have goodwill towards him, and the antiquity and continuity, the continuity of the dominion, the memories and causes for innovations are extinguished. In other words, in antiquity and continuity of the dominion, the memories and causes why there was innovation are distinguished, because one change always leaves the toothing for the building of another. And this is a metaphor. This is adilentolo. The toothing is a technical architectural term denoting bricks of stone left alternately projecting at the end of walls and buildings so that additions can easily be made. So in other words, these are literally it's an architectural term he uses here of these bricks that are left up so that you could build extensions and therefore they can build things higher. So he's saying that antiquity and continuity and the dominions and memories, move of dominant of the dominion of his rule, that sense. The memories and causes of innovations are extinguished, right? Why you need to do things. You forget them. You forget them. You don't remember them. They just don't remember it anymore. They no longer remember. And what happened? And because one change always leaves the tooling of a building of another. Because if you leave the change is left, and therefore they build a new change. So therefore, you need what this does is you forget about what was done, the antiquity and continuing of the dominion. The causes for innovation or changes are forgotten, because once you change, the changes cause new changes. And this is how he ends this chapter. So let's stop here and let's turn. If you have any comments, questions, or things like that, please put below. If you like it, hit the like button, because it helps the channel. Share the video far and wide to get more attention. Another thing you can do is you can say, "Well, okay, I didn't really like that. I thought something was wrong." Well, you can always thumbs down it, but say why in the comments so people can learn from it. Now, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Um, as so too by sharing video far and wide in social media and everywhere, in any means you can share it. It all helps the algorithm in that sense. So subscribing helps. We're getting to that magic number, and I want to hit that magic number soon. Another thing you can do is, oh my God, you can help check out my social media links. You can check me out on social media, follow me there, or you can want to know more about me as a scholar and as a researcher, check out my research and things like that. You can do so through the academic social media links below, my social media links. Or if you want to help me to do what I do, you want to contribute, help me do these things that I do here, you can do so. You can become a patron, right? A sponsor, a patron in that sense. You can do so through Patreon or Subscribestar. The URL is listed below. Or you can buy one of my books, and you can list the books are listed. The current books that are available are listed below, and you can order it either by your local bookstore. Hopefully, they can order for you. But if not, you can do an online bookseller like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or any one of those. Or you can go to order directly through the publisher. Well, that's it. We'll turn next time um, uh, 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 as we go into this, the next chapter, book chapter 3, which I think is, if I remember correctly, will be mixed principates, right? So we'll stop here and we'll have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.